Alright, so like I said, we're going to get into what effect mutations has on anomalies. We already know that they turn humans into anomalies, but if you're going to mutate further, what does that do? Well, we've got this table here. So again, if we cause an artifact with 1,000 shards to be harvested, we're going to get one mutation, which means we'll get one enhancement. As we get more mutations, we'll get attribute points, we'll get alterations, and then just more enhancements will upgrade these alterations, more attribute points. So what are these things? On the character sheet, you're going to be updating your mutations here, and this is where we have alterations and enhancements. So enhancements, there's this big table here. When you get one, you can choose one of these things every time you get a +1 enhancement, and every time you get an enhancement, you can also change your previous ones. So if I get up to 10 mutations, then I could change what I chose here after my first mutation. So let's take a look at these. These are mostly going to affect your play in combat. Some of it is going to be outside of combat. Maybe you can move faster, or shoot things further, that kind of thing. So you're going to be dealing extra damage, recovering resources, knocking back targets. Maybe resources cost less, change the frequency of some of your abilities, those sorts of things. This is going to be a way to sort of build and shape your character, find the things that you really like about your character and enhance those, or maybe you look at some of the weaknesses with your character, and this is a way to fill in the gaps. Once you finally get up to 3 enhancements, for every 100 mutations you receive beyond 200, you can change your 3 enhancements. So that's just, if you've played the game so much, you've gone on so long, you've gotten so many mutations, maybe you're tired of the enhancements you picked. It's just a nice way to be able to change it, because you can always change equipment on the fly, and this just keeps things fresh. Now when it goes and it increases an attribute point, very easy. So if I go and I say, I've got 2 mutations, that gives me +1 attribute point, I'm just going to take one of these values and go ahead and add 1 to it permanently. And that can set these to above 10. At some point, maybe up to 12 knowledge. Well, that's like superhuman knowledge. I might have this photographic memory, and I just remember every little detail about everything. And the same can be for strength, athletics, perception. Doesn't matter. You can change those values as you get more mutations. Now, alterations are going to be something a bit different. Alterations are really going to change your body. So maybe you're sprouting horns, you get a 3rd eye, you've got wings on your back. A lot of these things are going to affect your combat ability, but they're also going to affect things outside of combat. Because if you can fly for a short distance, of course that's going to change how you move about in the world. So let's take a look at these alterations. What kinds of things do they do? Well, they might let you move to another space, add fire damage, knock back someone, increase the range, restore allies back to life who've been dropped to 0 health, things like that. But where do they come into play, you might be asking? Well, if you remember in combat, I said that you have 2 actions per turn. Well, it's true. Everyone has 2 actions, monsters, anomalies, humans. But if you have alterations, you get an additional action, and that action has to be one of your alterations. So when you get alterations for the first time, after, 3 mutations, you're going to have 3 alterations, and then later on, you're going to upgrade those alterations. So I might choose 3 things: fire-kissed, wings, and a halo, let's say. I can choose any one of these 3 things to do each turn on top of my 2 actions that I normally get. So fire-kissed is going to add fire damage to my next single target attack. So if I choose to swing with my 2-handed sword and deal 12 stamina damage, well, instead that might deal 22 stamina damage. Of course, I'd have to be next to the target for that to happen, but that is my one alteration that I'm able to use. If I didn't use that, I could use wings to move a free space, or I could bring back a target from the dead, or from 0 stamina and 0 spirit back with 5 and 5. You can use these alterations at any time during your turn, after your 2 actions, in the middle of your 2 actions, before the 2 actions, whatever you want. It doesn't matter. And then as they get upgraded, they're just going to be more powerful. Same kind of thing as well. As you get more alterations, say you've upgraded them all, you've got all your enhancements, your attribute points, all that, you can go ahead and you can change your alterations for every 100 mutations you receive beyond 200. So again, just another way to keep it fresh. Swap out your wings for something else. You're all kinds of crazy mutations going on. And the same will be true when you go ahead and upgrade your alterations as well. So that's really it. That's kind of how you're going to be progressing your character. We've got everything for the character sheet. We know how to do combat. We know how to do things outside of combat, talk to people, whatever, and how to interact with artifacts. So that should be everything you need to get going. Obviously, I highly recommend reading through all the text in here just to get a better idea of exactly how things work, get a little more clarity, a little more depth into your play. But this is hopefully just a short kind of overview, being able to see things in action and understand how to get started.